Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving deep into a really ambitious blueprint that's set to reshape Africa's entire digital landscape. We're going to ask, where does the continent's data actually live? Who's in control of it? And how could changing that one thing unlock a whole new wave of innovation?
Okay, so let's get right into it. First, we need to understand the core problem we're talking about. The digital economy is exploding, right? But there's this kind of fundamental imbalance at its heart that this new blueprint is designed to fix.
So, to set the stage, let's ask a pretty simple but really crucial question. When someone in Africa sends an email, or streams a video, or uses a cloud application, where does that data physically go? The answer, well, it's probably not what you think.
The answer is, overwhelmingly, it's not in Africa. A staggering 80%. According to the blueprint, that's how much of the continent's international internet traffic gets routed to and hosted on servers that are thousands of miles away. I mean, just think about that for a second. Data from millions of Africans is taking this massive round trip, thousands of miles to physical buildings we call data centers. And this creates some serious challenges. It can make services slower, it makes them more expensive, and it means a truly vital resource is being controlled from outside the continent. So this really lays out the two paths forward, clear as day. On one hand, you can continue as is, which means relying on foreign infrastructure. That leads to higher costs and a loss of what experts are calling digital sovereignty. But then there's the other path, the one this blueprint is championing. It's all about building that capacity locally. That move helps fuel the local economy, it makes services way faster, and it puts Africa back in control of this critical resource. So, to tackle this exact dilemma and really choose that path of digital independence, leaders and technology experts from all across the continent have collaborated on a really powerful solution. And here it is. It's called the Blueprint for Data Center and Cloud for Africa. Now, this was developed by the Smart Africa Alliance, with the Republic of Djibouti playing a huge role as a partner. And you have to understand, this isn't just some dry technical document. Not at all. It's a strategic roadmap for a massive continental-wide shift. The president of Djibouti, which is actually where the project is being piloted, he frames the mission perfectly. He says, data is the new natural resource. And for Africa to thrive in this digital age, it has to take sovereign control of its data. Period. Okay, so how does this whole plan actually work? Well, it all rests on two powerful pillars. And this is key. It's not just about building hardware. It's also about fundamentally shifting the mindset around how technology is adopted and used. So pillar number one is the physical infrastructure. We're talking about building a whole network of high-quality, secure, and reliable data centers right there on African soil. Then, pillar number two is the strategic mindset. This is about pushing governments and businesses to adopt what's called a cloud-first policy for new tech projects, which totally changes how they approach their digital tool. But how do you make sure these new data centers are actually any good? Because, let me tell you, not all data centers are created equal. They're actually rated using a system called tiers. And honestly, the best way to think of it is like star ratings for a hotel. But instead of rating comfort, you're rating digital reliability and uptime. So the scale goes from Tier 1, which is pretty basic and can have more than a full day of potential downtime each year, all the way up to Tier 4. A Tier 4 facility, that's the gold standard. It's what's known as fault-tolerant, with multiple active power and cooling systems. It guarantees an availability of over 99.99%. And get this, that translates to less than 24 minutes of downtime in an entire year. The goal is obviously to build more of these. A survey from 2022 gives us a great snapshot of the current situation. Of the nearly 160 data centers they looked at, about half are already rated as high-quality Tier 3 or Tier 4 facilities. That's fantastic. But the other half? They remain unclassified. And that just highlights a massive opportunity for both standardization and major upgrades. So let's go back to that second pillar, the cloud-first strategy. This is really all about changing behavior. It means that when an organization, whether it's a government or a business, needs a new IT solution, the default option, the first thing they consider, should be using cloud-based services. Essentially renting what you need instead of buying and building your own hardware.
It's just a much more agile, scalable, and cost-effective way to operate.
Okay, so here's the crucial point. You can bring all these new data centers online, and you can get everyone thinking cloud first, but how do you bring it all together? How do you make it simple and trustworthy for customers to actually use all these new providers? You can't just build the facilities and hope people find them. This is the central challenge the whole blueprint is trying to solve. How do you create one cohesive ecosystem from a really diverse group of providers spread all across dozens of countries? Well, the answer is maybe the most exciting part of this whole plan.
The solution is an African cloud marketplace, and it works in 3 pretty simple steps. First, you bring everything into one single online portal. Second, you certify the local providers with a marketplace label. Think of it as a stamp of approval that guarantees quality and security. And finally, you connect customers directly to these trusted providers through a really simple-to-use service catalog.
I really like this analogy. You can think of it as a trusted digital farmers market. It connects local producers, in this case data centers and cloud providers, directly with local customers. It's all under one roof where you know the quality is guaranteed. This just simplifies the whole process and builds a ton of trust in the local ecosystem. Now, this really ambitious vision isn't just some idea on paper. The blueprint lays out a very detailed, multi-year roadmap to turn this marketplace from a concept into a continent-wide reality.
The implementation is broken down into these really clear phases. It started with a pilot phase from 2022 to 2023, just to test the concept with some basic services. Right now, we're in what's called the generalization phase, which runs from 2024 to 2025. This is all about refining the model based on what they've learned and really scaling that cloud-first strategy. And then comes the target phase, from 2025 to 2028, which is when they plan to scale the marketplace across all of Africa and expand its offerings to even more advanced services.
Djibouti's Minister of Digital Economy, Mariam Hamadou Ali, really puts the goal in perspective. She explains that this is so much bigger than just technology. It's about a deep, fundamental commitment to building a more connected society where every single person can benefit. And that leaves us with a final, really powerful thought. By aiming to bring 80% of its data home, Africa isn't just building infrastructure. It's laying the foundation for its own digital sovereignty, it's fostering local innovation, and it's taking control of its own digital destiny. The plan is in place. The next few years are going to be absolutely fascinating to watch.